What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about a thriller again. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about Ice Cream Man. It's released May 9th, 1995, directed by Paul Norman, who's went on to do porn after this, like The Three Musketeers 1 and 2, uh, The Private Diary of Tori Wellis, Innocent Lost, Wicked as She Seems, and a whole pile of other pornos and stuff. And uh, sexploitation type films. This had a $2 million budget as well, which was surprising. This is an indie film from 1995, and yeah, it's really weird. It's a typical slasher. There's a small suburban town, and yeah, with a mental institution off to the side, and yeah, so they have this weird, creepy ice cream man who goes around and gives ice cream to the little kids, and it's your typical fear of stranger danger, sort of, that it plays on of kids getting ice cream, but the ice cream man being a little more creepy and weird and sinister than meets the eye. Like you could tell he's creepy in the beginning and stuff, but yeah, it definitely plays out more violently and creepy and disturbing than what meets the eye. Yeah, it's your standard slasher thriller. I classify slashers in two forms. There's horror slashers and slasher thrillers. And horror slasher is like a mass killer that you don't know, and you're left guessing who it is, and they either don't reveal it at all or they will reveal it at the end, like Scream or something of that nature. Scream, and yeah, you have your Jasons and stuff like that. Like anything with supernatural stuff mixed in is in that one too, and yeah, or mass killers. A slasher thriller is where you see the killer, you know who the killer is, and you still see all the killing and slashing. So yeah, definitely, this is definitely falls under the slasher thriller because you see the ice cream man is very prominent throughout the whole film, and you're kind of like, it's an interesting film because it feels somewhat like the 1995, or with like a little bit of Goonies sort of style play mixed in there with this like group of kids that are think the ice cream man's up to something and they're trying to figure out why, and obviously the cops don't listen to them and stuff. And the Ice Cream Man has more of like a Freddy Krueger type quirky humor to him and stuff, of like one-liners and little variations of like weird after he kills someone. Like he has two heads and ice creams on ice cream scoops, making them talk like puppets and stuff. Interesting, funny little things like that. Obviously, not to the elaborate extent as um a Nightmare on Elm Street, those films, because they have bigger budgets and stuff. But this one definitely sort of falls around that. Also, it the TV series, and I think it was like a Nightmare on Elm Street 5 was coming out when this came out, so it's definitely pandering to those audiences. You could tell it's shot for like TV and straight to video. The cinematography is not that great in this film, but and the acting's hit and miss. But the story is actually pretty amusing. It's back and forth a lot. There's like a lot of dream sequences and a lot of to do the exposition, tell you the backstory of the Candyman, and there's no real like hidden twist or anything like that. And it's pretty straightforward. It's starts off as a dark thriller, and the ice cream man's killing people, and some kids go missing. The younger kids think that the ice cream man is the one who does it. But for the most, and then like later on through the film, you find out that the Candy Man's actually just like a pedophile and just keeps the kids alive, and shows them what he's doing, and just like trying to be, has a little bit of a heart. I think they're trying to make you more sympathetic with them, but kind of just comes up as a creepy pedophile-ish type character. But yeah, yeah, and then once the cops get involved, it becomes your typical murder cat and mouse type game where the cops eventually realize the kids are telling the truth and stuff. Yeah, it's your standard slasher, but with some good quirkiness to it, some good practical effects. But boy, was the first hour a long hour to get through. The pacing is not that great in this. It picks up. It starts off with a whole ball of steam, just keeps on going, and then all of a sudden it's just like the dream sequences come in and kind of displaces the pacing quite a bit. Um, yeah, for the most part though, it was amusing. It is quite dull, I found. Um, I love like the character, the creepy character of the ice cream man was definitely really well. There's a couple characters where they didn't even need to be in it, like his supporting nurse that he lives with and stuff. Like that character could just get thrown out of, and there was no real significance to that. And but there's some other throwaway characters here and there, like the cop detectives don't really do anything besides like comic relief. And it was amusing to see them go up to the mental ward and realize it's run by the inmates, and then something bigger and badder happen. But then it doesn't really expand on that. It just goes back to the ice cream man and getting him and finishing him off. But yeah, it doesn't expand more of that. There's a couple loose ends in the story, so it's not like a good cohesive story, but it's still a decent little slasher film that you could have rented or watched anywhere. You can watch it on Shutter right now. And but yeah, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't perfect. Obviously, has its flaws, but I'm definitely not like one of the ones that's like a diehard fan of it. It's good for a watch, I think, but not going back and reliving it a lot. It was amusing, but it was quite boring at some points. So with all that, I'm gonna give Ice Cream Man a 3.5 out of 5. I love the gore effects. I love the guy who plays Ice Cream Man. He did a really good creepy job, and the kids acting was actually pretty good in this too. And you kind of feel for them there, but the rest of it was just disjointed mess. And yeah, it was quirky and funny, but it also was a little creepy, but wasn't as hard hitting and impactful as I was expecting. And I wanted a good, well rounded story, not like a pop loose ends where they're probably like trying to do it up in sequels or something, which I don't think there is any for this. But yeah. So yeah, Ice Cream Man, it's a decent film. It's worth the watch at least. But yeah, don't I wouldn't say go out of your way, even you have to see it. But there's a trailer link down below if you want to see what I'm talking about. Also, a link down below is my Instagram where I post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. I usually have the film title and the hashtag and the subject on the film and the hashtag so you're aware of it. Also, my Letterbox is linked down below. That's where I post my um, first star rating right after watching the films. Yeah, right on there. So they're both linked down below. It's at Derek P Reviews for the Letterbox. Both linked down below. So yeah, follow me on one of those to stay in the loop for the channel. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you have any other slashers or any films in general that you want to hear my opinions on, comment them down below. Try my best to get to them as soon as I can and if I can find them. But yeah, that's it for this one. Ice Cream Man was your typical slasher film with a little bit of extra quirkiness to it and a couple loose ends that never got tied up. So yeah, it was fun for a one watch, but I don't think I'll go to my way to see it again. So yeah, but that's it for this one. Check it out if you really want to. It's on Shutter, like I said, right now. So yeah, this isn't sponsored by them or anything, but yeah, I just thought that's a good place to find it. And yeah, so watch out for all those creepy ice cream men that are out there. Well, here in Canada, they're not out there. It's middle of December. But yeah, watch out for all those creepy ice cream men and creepy men in general that are out there. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So cheers.